We are going to have some fun today with two headlines. We're going to do one about Cameron Diaz and wine. And what's not to like about wine, Bobbi?
Well, actually, if people stay for the story, they will learn. Maybe celebrity wines aren't all that. I hope I didn't just give it all away.
Yeah, you should have said spoiler.
Spoiler. That's a good one.
Yeah, I should put the logo up, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
There it is. Check that out. Oh, that's so much better. Look at that.
Yeah. Well, we're still learning to use this new streaming platform that we like a lot. Hey, Restream, we like you. Yeah.
All right.
That looks great.
We gonna make an early morning show here?
We are.
We should
End
say
of summer. Oh, go ahead.
Most people are going to watch this later, so we should pretend it's the middle of the day. That's what we should
really
do.
We should pretend it's Saturday because that's when the first show that we're going to record is. We didn't actually give people a briefing. We're actually going to, we're going to record two shows. Oh, and how awesome is this? We have people from Facebook and YouTube. This is why we're so excited about this new platform. It's not new. It's new to us because we can be on different platforms. So we have people watching from both YouTube and Facebook, and maybe we'll even get someone saying hi from Twitter. And we're working on LinkedIn. So it's so exciting. It's so exciting. We're so everywhere.
I'm tingly.
All right. So we're going to record shows for next Saturday and Monday. And we're going to try really hard. I'm usually the bad person here. We're going to try really hard to make them about 15 minutes. So if you guys want to comment and be in the show sooner rather than later and all that good stuff. Okay.
We've been coming closer though.
Yes. I really like your shows that are coming out with Paula that are coming out today and tomorrow. So everyone definitely also listen to the audio. Make sure you're subscribed, all that good stuff. Okay. This is the one for Saturday.
Ron is in the
Are we ready?
Ron's in the San Francisco Bay Area. It is so the big question for Ron is 4:50 in the morning. Did you go to bed yet? Have you gone to bed yet, Ron? Ron's still coming in from partying, I guess. Oh, that's cool, Gregory. That is awesome. I love the fact that his phone buzzes. We should have everybody's phone set to that. Like have it set to buzz.
Yes.
It's mandatory. Yes. All right.
Although we did just figure out how to put a posting up saying we will be taping. That's a new thing with the new platform. We now know how to do that. So look for that exciting tweak in the future that there'll be a notification in advance, not just at the moment.
I'm going to talk, Bobbi, to my friend Tim at Apple and see if he can take care of that for us.
Okay. Good morning, Mike. You do that.
Boy, we got a lot of people here this morning.
I know. See, maybe mornings are a good thing. Well, we were just talking about whether we should have regular times that we can tape, and it's hard. But maybe when the school year starts and Joe finally puts pause on his nomad life, or I don't know if the regular viewers know this, that Joe is in a different location seemingly. I don't even know. Are you still in Vermont? Like I'm his co-host. I don't even know where he is.
I have 2 more days in Vermont, and then we head to Michigan. Next week, I'll be doing it from Michigan, and then the week after that, I'm touring. So we're going to record early. I need to talk to you about that, by the way. And then, I'll be in Palm Springs for the next month. So there's no way we'll be recording now because I'm not going to get up like Ron does. Ron's in construction early. Got it.
No, but you know what? Maybe we'll also experiment with recording later, because I think sometimes in the middle of the workday, even though we're all working from home, that's not always the best time for people. People have said, I want to listen when I'm getting dressed or when I get home and I'm sort of settling into bed. So maybe we do early morning or evening stuff on occasion. But anyway, Joe's like, I don't know about that. But anyway, okay. Yes, Joe. By the way, did you ever even announce where you're finally going to land? Do people know that? Is that still a secret?
Good morning, Aaron. No,
and
people
then we
don't
really
know.
will record. Okay, so we're not going to tell anyone yet.
I have said that it is very funny. It is very funny, isn't it?
It's pretty awesome. All right, let's do a show for Saturday. I think you guys are going to have a lot to say about this. Okay.
Hold on.
This is the show. Make sure you're recording.
Let me hit the record button. All right, we are now recording. Okay. This is for Saturday, the 28th, 29th.
Hey, celebrities are just like us. Guess what happened when actress and model Cameron Diaz decided she'd had enough of acting and went into a second career in the wine business? It is Saturday, August 29th. Let's talk money with our friends. Welcome to the Money with Friends podcast. I am certified financial planner, Bobbi Rebell, host of the Financial Grown Up podcast, coming to you from my very grown up kitchen in New York City.
And coming to you live from Stowe, Vermont. Almost forgot where I am. We're making Stacking Benjamin show. I'm Joe Salsi. Hi.
This is the Money News Show that has commentary on recent headlines and stories with thought leaders from across the financial landscape. We break the stories down into what matters to you, our friends, and we leave you with a takeaway to make it your own.
Today's show is brought to you by Tiller Money. Optimize your financial life in Google Sheets with fast automatic transactions, imports, easy templates, and a free 30-day trial. And now you can also use Microsoft Excel, which is cool because they're bringing back Microsoft Money. And if you're somebody that uses that, it interfaces great with Tiller. But regardless of that, Google Sheets, use their templates, tillerhq.com/MWF for more. Bobbi, we are talking celebrities and wine, two of your favorite topics.
Absolutely. Although, well, you know what? I think this evening I am going to have some wine as soon as this show is over. I was about to say I'm drinking coffee while we record this, but yeah. I've been drinking a lot of rosé during golf. I've been having drinks on the golf course this summer a lot. What about you? You're up in Vermont.
You know what? There's a place that makes beer around every corner here. It's disgusting. Like everything, you cannot get away from the craft beer scene. I've never seen so many places that make beer as I have in Vermont. It is incredible. So yeah, I've drank a lot of beer this month.
Very good. All right. Well, we're going to be talking about wine, celebrity wine, and is it really that good? And also second careers, I guess.
Yeah, right? Let's do it. Let's see which one of our friends is going to help us kick off today's show.
This headline comes to us from the New York Post. It is by Rob Bailey Milado. And it begins, Cameron Diaz's hyped clean wine gets the lowest rating in a survey. Cameron Diaz's new clean wine only debuted 2 months ago, but it's not aging well. The A-lister's Aveline white wine, which sells for $24 a bottle, earned a D rating in a new survey of nearly 400 households. Diaz's Vino was voted least favorite of celebrity white wines, while wine from musicians Sting and Dave Matthews generated the best buzz, tying for the top spot. The happily, quote, retired, it has this like in little quotation marks, actress, last seen in the 2014 musical debacle Annie, has said she and business partner Catherine Power were motivated to make wine when they repeatedly found themselves getting headaches after their second pour. So we asked ourselves, this is a quote from Ms. Diaz, maybe there's a way to make wine better for us. I think the implication is healthier, recently told Jimmy Fallon on The Tonight Show. In an Instagram video with Power, she explained how she was shocked to discover wineries were allowed to incorporate 73 additives. And another quote from Ms. Diaz, I thought it was just fermented grapes, adding that she struggled to source brands made with organic grapes and zero pesticides at shops and restaurants. However, there's something about Mary Starr's positive messaging still left a bad taste in some critics' mouths and pocketbooks.
When it comes to clean wines, the only thing being cleaned is your wallet. Wow. Felicity Carter, editor of Meininger's Wine Business International magazine, griped to The Guardian after Diaz appeared in a Goop health video with Gwyneth Paltrow, 47. Carter wasn't the only critic, with star-powered wines pulling so much focus. Expert onophile and author Mark Oldman wanted to determine which star's beverage was best and hosted his first virtual celebrity white wine showdown survey. The big takeaway? Entertainers should stick to what they know. Almost everyone, 88%, agreed that celebrities should not call themselves winemakers. That is the title best left to trained professionals, said Oldman, 51, who wrote the book How to Drink Like a Billionaire, Mastering Wine with Joie de Vivre. Joie de Vivre. Joie de Vivre. Oh, boy. Do you like my French? Joie de Vivre, as well as other boozy titles. With 386 households logged in via Zoom on August 18th, Oldman instructed his survey group on how to evaluate white wine and then presented the contenders. Here's who was under scrutiny. It was Diaz, Dave Matthews, Zach Brown, Lisa Vanderpump, and Sting and Trudy Styler. Drew Barrymore's Carmel Road Chardonnay was disqualified before the event as the actress is no longer associated with the label, and attendees purchased the wines in advance of the tasting. So it turns out maybe Cameron Diaz wine isn't phenomenal, Bobbi.
No, but I think that we should think about the fact that she's entering a new career and should these, I like the line that you read about whether celebrities should really do something they don't know anything about. I mean, what do you think about that? The article's a little bit judgy about it, but at the same time, we're always advocating for people to have side hustles or pivot to second careers. And she saw a place in the market. She saw an opening and she's been working on it. She got a business partner that presumably has a business background of some sort. So, I mean, I don't know if the article was really very fair. I mean, I guess it might not be the best product, and that you can take issue with. But the idea that celebrities shouldn't do other things, I don't know. Is that really fair?
Well, first of all, I mean, the fact that she's making the wine, I'm 95% sure. I mean, I don't dig into these things, but when you have a celebrity endorsement, in most cases, the celebrity's not actually making the product. They're just lending their name to it. And maybe, Bobbi, they're getting their hands dirty a little bit, learning about how it works, maybe talking to the people that are the winemakers about how they're making the product. But I really don't think Cameron Diaz is in there stomping grapes. I know they don't stomp grapes anymore.
No.
But I will say this, that everybody starts off, and actually Gregory's saying this in our Facebook group. We're doing this live on Facebook and on YouTube. You can join us, youtube.com/moneywithfriends. Gregory says you got to be bad at something before you can be good at it. And I say, absolutely, Gregory. Clearly, a lot of these stars, if they want to be involved in wine, get involved in wine. I do know, though, people that have been in wine their entire life, and I don't think it's something you can work like a part-time job. I think it very much is something that's going to take a lot of time and a lot of effort to make your wine good.
But we have no reason to believe she's not doing that. It says she's retired from acting since 2014. So maybe this is her full-time thing right now. Maybe it started as a side interest, but based on what we're reading, and we don't know what other projects she's involved with, this is something that she maybe is doing more than just endorsing, that she has a genuine interest and genuinely is. I mean, many business owners, you can own a construction company. It doesn't mean you're out there literally doing the building. You could be, selling the product, selling your services for your company and managing the people. I mean, you don't have to be involved physically in the production to really be an owner in the company. And here she is, no longer acting. Potentially took some of her proceeds from acting because she was extremely successful and is starting with a business partner. She has a business partner who, to my knowledge, is not known for, anything in the celebrity sphere. And she's starting a business. So I would laud her for that. That said, the product clearly was not well reviewed. So she's got some homework to do on that front. And I don't think that, from what I know about wines, $24 is not like a dirt cheap wine. I mean, it's sort of middle tier, right?
And this though is a big struggle for people. I mean, I remember when I switched from being a financial planner over to doing financial media stuff, and initially mostly just writing. And I remember A, how bad I was at it, and B, how I was taking lessons from people that were a lot younger than me, that I thought had a lot less life experience than I did. And I have to tell you, I don't think I'm an incredibly egotistical guy. Like everybody, I have a little bit of an ego, but I think that it's very, very difficult to be bad at something after you've been good at something else. Like sucking at wine at first to get over that hump to get good after you've had a career where you've been an amazing actress and you've been in all these movies. That's really difficult, Bobbi.
And it just started 2 months ago. I mean, look, there have been athletes that have left one sport and then tried to go to a different sport and been total flops. It happens all the time. It doesn't mean you shouldn't go for it. And you know what? It's also an interesting life experience. She's learning about wine. Maybe she's enjoying herself. Maybe she's having different experiences and learning about wine that are great, or maybe it'll flop and she'll do something else. Yeah. Whatever. But I love the idea that she's out there doing something, because you don't have to. She probably could just retire on her many, many millions and her success and so on. So I think that the article is a bit harsh, just because, well, the article, I shouldn't say that. The part about the wine not tasting good, that's not harsh. That's fair. But the part about sort of being snarky, that celebrities shouldn't make wine, people from any career should be able to go to a different career if they want to. And their success should be based on the merit of their product and their marketing and all that. And look, Cameron Diaz's marketing and wine, the quality of the wine right now based on this is probably not there yet. So
Sure.
it's fair game for people not to buy the wine just because of that. But people also shouldn't not buy it because of it. I mean, look at Paul Newman's product line, which did very well in the end because people actually liked his salad dressing and spaghetti sauce and stuff like that. And people probably made fun of that when it came out, even though it was for charity.
Sure, right. Mike brings up a good point. He says that it can be lucrative, like Ryan Reynolds selling aviation gin, George Clooney selling Casamigos could working out well for Cameron. I'll say this because Mike then asked this question. He says, "I'm not sure why anybody though would buy something just because some celebrity's hawking it." I'll tell you what the celebrity does, Bobbi and Mike. It isn't that. It's that people give you the benefit of the doubt. You're in a supermarket. You've got 10 different products out there. You know that Cameron Diaz has one. You can't decide. You know what you say? Like, let's just get Cameron Diaz wine. Let's see what it's like. And we can kind of laugh about it. And then once you've bought it once, studies show you're more likely to go back and buy it again, mostly because you know it. So the second time you're like, yeah, Cameron Diaz wine wasn't that great, but I'm going to buy it again because I had it and it was okay. And I know that our friends, we're going to be just around the pool anyway. So who cares? So you go pick up another bottle. And then another bottle.
It's also a conversation point. I mean, if you're having people over for a socially distanced gathering and you buy the Cameron Diaz wine and you might say, hey, let's see, is it really as bad as this, survey said? No, but it's sort of a fun thing to do. You could have your own celebrity wine tasting and why not? It's just sort of a fun thing. You can't take it too seriously. It's $24. Maybe try it. Maybe you actually like it. I mean, people have different tastes. So, I think that people should just, try what they like. It's fine. It could be better. It could be worse. Who knows?
In just a moment, Bobbi and I are going to have our takeaways on today's piece. But first, got to say a big thanks to everybody who used our link when they went to Tiller.com. I love Tiller because of the fact that it's spreadsheet based. What does that mean? It means that you can use Google Sheets, you can use Excel, and you then put your budget in there like a budget nerd would. And even if you're not a budget nerd with your spreadsheet, Tiller has a bunch of already pre-made templates that you can start from. Now, if you're using Excel, including the old Microsoft Money template that so many people rave about. So to optimize your financial life, to get fast automatic transactions, everything downloads right to your sheet like it would if you're using Mint or one of the big online apps, but it's infinitely customizable where those apps aren't. For 30 days for free, and to check it out, head to TillerHQ.com/MWF. I'm so used to saying Stacking Benjamins, Bobbi. TillerHQ.com/MWF. Free 30-day trial. And big thanks, people that used our link. I made it through that. Let's talk about our takeaways. What's our takeaway here?
Joe, I was tempted to say stick with what you know, but I'm going to go in a different direction to the surprise of nobody that has been listening to this show so far. And I say, get to know something you don't yet know. Cameron tried something new. As of now, maybe she's not very good at it, but good for her for at least trying and hopefully for continuing. Not everyone succeeds the first time out. If she sticks with it, let's see how she's doing 10 years from now. She can be that famous wine mogul that was once an actress, kind of like President Reagan. He was a president that was once, oh, by the way, an actor. People do all kinds of different careers, never doubt somebody. And I say, go Cameron.
I'm with you as a guy who's working in a second career. It is very, very difficult, but it's also very rewarding to take experience from one thing and to move it into something else, and to be able to climb that hill and realize that your life doesn't have to be just one thing, Bobbi. It can be a bunch of different things. I mean, you look at people, these studies on longevity, some people that are going to live now to be 120, 130, maybe even 140 years old. Over 140 years, you could have 4 30-year careers if you wanted to. Think about that. You could get good at a bunch of different things. So yeah, you're right. You're going to suck at it when you first start. So don't let that stop you. There will be other contests. And if Cameron keeps working at it, the wine will probably get better. How do people make us? How do people help us make the show? My mouth has stopped working.
Wait, was that your takeaway, Joe?
That was my takeaway.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
It was just very casual, an extension of yours. It was
okay.
My takeaway was kind of, yeah, me too.
Okay.
How about that?
Everyone should follow us on social media. And this is really important, guys. You need to, first of all, subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Money with Friends. Make sure to set your alerts so that you know when we are recording this show and you can be part of the show.
Gregory's phone buzzes. I'm just saying, Gregory might be one of our favorite listeners because of that.
Sarah is also on from YouTube. We have a bunch of people from YouTube. You also should follow us on Twitter, which we now are also doing the show on. That's at Money Friends Pod. Our Instagram is also at Money Friends Pod. And on Instagram, you can be part of the show by participating in our polls, questions, and quizzes, which is also super fun. Stay close to the stories for that. And finally, learn more about the show and get links to the stories that we talk about on our website, moneywithfriendspodcast.com.
Monday, we're back with a show about student loans, some good news, some student loan relief. We'll talk about what happened and is it enough on Monday's show. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you back here on Monday at Money with Friends. 16:30.
Awesome. I didn't know you were doing your takeaway because you made your picture so little. And I was like, is that the takeaway? What's he doing in that tiny little box?
I was so excited about saying it that I forgot to change the video. Show off. Black Star.
I don't know what that means.
Black Star's this phenomenal winery up in Leelanau Peninsula, the greatest place on earth. So, Jane,
don't even know what that is, but okay.
I stayed at Black Star once, and it was in November, which is not normally a phenomenal time in Leelanau. But I'll tell you, they have this room with this fireplace, and it's one of those rooms on the end of this beautiful mansion, and it's circular. And Cheryl and I sat at this table right in the little circular area, and it started snowing. And it just felt like here, like for, northern Michigan, Vermont,
right.
Just, upstate New York, just it was beautiful. It was so beautiful. Great time. Money with Friends wine. We should do Money with Friends wine. Gregory's asking for it.
Yeah, that'll be our next brand expansion.
That's gonna be it. I could hire somebody. I actually apparently have the number one beer. Bobbi, because Neil was going on about the number one beer is right here across the road from me. So the Alchemist. And Heady Topper.
Yes. I didn't know how much I sort of stumbled at the beginning of that show, guys, because the thing is, so we joined this golf course and they actually have a drinks cart that will follow you around, and you can actually call the guy and he'll come. And last Friday, it was Friday afternoon, we literally had the guy bring us rosés. The women I was playing golf with, they're like, oh, let's call, I forget his name. And they have his direct number. And they can literally text him and be like, we're on the 8th hole, bring us rosé. And like, he comes driving up with the wine. So
that is a slippery slope.
Yes. Alcoholic. I call it drunk golf, not necessarily buzzed golf. Sometimes you get better. All right.
That's why somebody asked that. I think it was Jim Rome, the sports reporter. Jim Rome said, is bowling really a sport if I get better after I've had 2 beers? Like if I'm better doing it when I have 2 beers, is it a sport?
If you say it is, it is.
Yeah, that's probably is. Yes.
Yep.
All right. We're going to make a second show, guys. Hang on, because we're talking student loans. Oh, let me change. Let me do this. Hold on.
See, I think so. We are on Twitter, I believe, but the problem with Twitter is I don't know if you can notify. And also, I think it just kind of goes by people's feeds and that's it. Then it sort of disappears.
You can see the video, but you can't comment. There's no way to comment back.
Oh, there's no way to. Are you sure? I think there is, because I feel like we once got a Twitter comment.
Really?
But it goes by. You know what I mean? Like the other ones are stay. The Twitter will just be a tweet that goes by in your feed. So if you don't catch it, I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to try to go over there, but I'm not going to. We'll just
let's do the show and we'll look later.
Another day. All right, guys.
Yes.
Jane, I'm jealous though. All right, let me do this and. All right, this is the show for Monday, the 28th. Is that the first? Is Monday the 1st?
The 31st. No, it's Tuesday is the 1st because my son has school orientation.
31st.
It's the 31st. There are 31 days in August.
All right, here we go.
It is official. Millions of student loan borrowers won't have to make payments on their debts through the end of the year, according to the Department of Education. But yes, there is a catch. It is Monday, August 31st. Let's talk money with our friends. Welcome to the Money with Friends podcast. I am certified financial planner, Bobbi Rebel, host of the Financial Grown Up podcast, coming to you from my very grown up kitchen in New York City.
And coming to you one last time from Stowe, Vermont, before I get the heck out of here, I'm Joe Saul-Sehy.
This is the Money News Show that includes commentary on recent headlines and stories with thought leaders from across the financial landscape. We break those stories down into what matters to you, our friends, and we leave you with a takeaway to make it your own.
Today's show is brought to you by NordPass. We lock passwords. You hold the key with NordPass. Store your passwords in the cloud, assess them on desktop, mobile, or your favorite browser, all encrypted on your device for your eyes only. You will get 60% off and a 30-day money-back guarantee by using our link, nordpass.com/MWF. That's nordpass.com/MWF. Bobbi, we're talking student loans, some good news for people that are looking for more relief.
Yes, it is good news, but it's not, as is often the case, it is not as simple as it sounds in the headline.
Yeah, it could be a little ugly. Let's dive into it. Let's see which one of our friends is going to help us kick off today's show. All right, today's piece comes to us from MarketWatch. It's written by Jillian Berman. Student loan borrowers can skip payments until 2021, but that may not be long enough. It's official. Millions of student loan borrowers won't have to make payments on their debts through the end of this year, the Department of Education clarified last week. But the extra few months of student loan relief likely isn't enough to mitigate the economic devastation borrowers are experiencing. And the timing of the resumption of payments could still create administrative headaches for borrowers. We're still just kicking the can down the road, said Persis Yu, the director of the Student Loan Borrower Assistance Project at the National Consumer Law Center. What we were really hoping for was a long-term solution that would both stop the hemorrhaging and then allow people to recover. The Department of Education's announcement comes as negotiations on other coronavirus stimulus package remain stalled in Washington. Earlier this month, President Donald Trump announced that he would be pausing student loan payments until the end of the year, but questions about the details remained. Bobbi?
The department's announcement Friday clarified that essentially the pause on student loan payments and collections passed by Congress as part of the CARES Act in March, which was set to expire on September 30th, roughly 1 month before the presidential election, will instead continue until December 31st. Like the CARES Act, this latest payment pause only applies to borrowers with federally held student loans. That means at least roughly $165 billion in federal student loans are ineligible for the payment pause, according to Mark Kantrowitz, the publisher of SavingForCollege.com. Borrowers with these types of loans are, quote, still left out. You note, however, putting them in danger of falling off a financial cliff, she said. Still, two key questions voiced by advocates when Trump announced the payment pause appear to have been answered by last week's announcement. Ben Miller, Vice President of Post-Secondary Education at the Center of American Progress, a left-leaning think tank, said he was pleased to see what appears to be the pause payments will count as part of the 120 monthly payments needed to qualify for public student loan forgiveness. That's often referred to as PSLF. And that borrowers who have defaulted on their student loans won't be subject to collections during the pause period. The department's announcement notes that borrowers whose wages are garnished over their defaulted debts during this period will receive refunds. The agency has faced challenges implementing the provisions of the CARES Act related to defaulted borrowers. And just to summarize a little bit, about up to 22,000 borrowers who've already had their wages seized didn't have a valid address on file. According to documents filed, there was a lawsuit. It's just been kind of a mess. But overall, they're saying that even the end of year deadline is murky because Miller says, I would be shocked if the economy was in much better shape by the end of the year, such that you wouldn't want to keep pausing anyway. So, and there's talks about the administrative challenges going on and the holiday season and all the tax filing it just makes it really complicated. It's complicated.
Yeah, and I want to start with this these 22,000 people that don't have the correct address on file. Obviously I'm sure there's some extenuating circumstances for many of these people. There might be people that don't have that might be have such problems right now that maybe they don't have an address and they don't know where they're at next. But for some of these people, Bobbi, it's just, I think it's a case of that we've seen with 401k contributions or with, whatever. We just opt to do nothing. And I think there's a lot of people out there that don't realize that there is relief. And man, 22,000 people that could have all this money refunded to them that's been seized from their paycheck. And because they don't have an address, they don't do it.
Right. And also it's important. Deferring is not the same as forgiveness. And it says later in the piece, both Miller and you said they would like to see some kind of debt cancellation provision because, it's not clear at this point, based on what we know, it's not clear that they're deferring interest on the loans. And that's something that traditionally has become a real problem because people get this forbearance, but the money, it's not like the debt has gone away. It's not like you're not getting interest. And the real accumulation of student debt often comes after you get your degree when you're struggling to make these payments and it's just snowballing because you're not paying it and the interest is adding up. And even if you get it deferred, then you have maybe balloon payments or maybe the time of the loan is just extended so much further into your life that there are people that are paying off their student loan debt when they've got children and they're trying to move on with their life. I mean, here in our audience on Facebook, we have Tiara talking about the fact that this action allowed her to have an emergency fund. Yeah. So people have not been able to fund emergency funds because they're busy paying off their student loan debt. That's not good. I'm so glad for Tiara that she now has an emergency fund, but think about what the student loan debt is doing even in a decent economy.
Yeah. No, and by the way, congratulations to Tiara to still be saving that money because we often see that if we don't have this obligation hanging over our head that somebody else is demanding money from us, what do? We just go spend more money, right? I mean, the average person doesn't do the proactive thing, which is make your emergency fund a bill. Think of it as a bill. You're paying everybody else. Why not pay yourself? So congratulations there. That's good news.
Yeah. And we also have Jane in the audience. She's saying, I have a coworker who was going to pay off his loans in 2020. Now our company is going to pay them off in 2021, since that pushes him into next year's up to $10,000 a year in student loans. So that's actually really good. And we talk a lot about the importance of your job and understanding your compensation may not just be your money. It also might be other benefits that companies offer. And I think that's a great thing for a company to offer to help people out in tough times.
Well, and more companies getting on board with student loan relief. I think especially to somebody right out of college right now, Bobbi, that's a really attractive benefit, isn't it? I mean, if a company says that they're going to help me pay my student loans, I'm probably listening to that.
Yeah. And the question is what the government's doing really a good thing? I mean, I think it is a good thing in that sometimes people really can't pay this, of course. So having the option, but Ron in our audience points out government not doing borrowers any favors, giving license to have these loans their whole lives. It's really important that people understand that when you don't pay this money, unless it's a forgiveness, it's still there. And so if you do have the money, maybe you should pay it.
Yeah. And what's funny is I used to think that the student loan issue is pretty simple. These are not responsible people getting into debt over their head for stupid reasons, not doing the ROI. And don't get me wrong, that is going on in some cases. However, the whole student loan issue is a way bigger problem than I originally thought. And there's so many layers, right? College being a whole different level of you have to have it in a lot of people's head than it used to be. Number one. Number two is that the cost of school way different than when I went to college. Then number three, you've got the way that student loans are structured, the way people pay for it. It's all different than when I went to school. And so I think that the problem is a lot worse than that. So on one hand, while I agree with Ron, the government not doing borrowers any favors, on the other end, I think there's a lot of people that seriously need some relief. And if you think about this, the people most likely to lose their jobs during this downturn are people at the bottom of the pyramid, right? Of the work pyramid. They're going to be the first ones let go. They're the new person in the job. Let them go. They're not an essential person yet. So you're seeing a lot of people that are just out of college with a fresh degree either can't get a job or they're let go from their job right away. It's a pretty difficult time.
Or their parents. Maybe their parents are helping them to pay for college and pay down their loans as a family. And that's also hard. But I also agree with something you said that's very important is why do we have these huge loans? We have these huge loans because tuition has become such a burden. I mean, I don't know who, I mean, look, this is personal. Our regular listeners know, but we have a college junior at a very expensive school. And it's maddening how much we're paying, which by the way is now online. And we're not going to go on a tangent about that, but we're paying the same. Actually, we're paying more tuition this year for him to go fully online, which is like there are no words. It's just horrific. It's not right. Why are tuition so high? Because families can borrow that amount of money. So it becomes this complicated, vicious cycle that tuitions go up because people will pay it, because they can pay it, because people feel we should make college affordable. Therefore, we give people loans that they really should never have. And they shouldn't have to have. College should not have to be this expensive to create so much debt for a lifetime.
It's interesting. This topic, I mean, getting into the efficacy of the government involved in student loans might be over my pay grade, but I do like something that our friend Rob Berger at Dough Roller says about this, which is when the government got involved in backing student loans, the game completely changed because higher education then said, oh, if Bobbi doesn't pay it, then the federal government will pay it. So we can up the amount that we charge because of that. This whole idea of making college affordable had this unintended backlash that was difficult.
And there's no accountability. Yeah.
Yeah. And back to the stuff that we can actually control. Mike has a great point here. He says it's a good opportunity to pay down the student loan at the moment, everything going to principal. So if you still have a good job and you're somebody that knows that your job's going to be intact and your loans have been frozen right now, throw money at that principal right now. I love that, Mike. That's fantastic. But by the way, if you have any job insecurity at all, this is the time, I think, Bobbi, where our advice is kind of flipped, right? Now we're saying if your if your student loans are frozen and you aren't sure if your job's going to be around, use this like Tiara did to build that emergency fund so that you know that you have it and hit pause. So it really depends on where you're at with your student loans. Hey, in just a second, Bobbi and I are going to have our takeaway from today's piece, but I want to say a big thanks to everybody who's gone to nordpass.com and used our link, nordpass.com/MWF, because not only do you get more off, you'll get 60% off. You'll also get a 30-day money back guarantee, and you can try out the password manager that I use to manage everything. So if you've never used a password manager, it interfaces right with your browser if you wanted to. I also have the password manager on my phone. I can just bring it up in any browser from any computer. I put in my one password, and then from there, NordPass takes over, and NordPass can create passwords wherever I go. So number one, instead of having to remember 50 passwords, I only have to remember one. And the cool thing about only having one password is I don't have one password for everything. Everything that I have is a different password. And if something happens to me or something happens to my spouse, Cheryl, every single password is in one place, and we know where everything is. And we've all seen that. I mean, this is horrible, but in estate planning, a lot of times people don't know where to find all the stuff. And if you have a password manager, it's all right there, and people can, if your people know where to go, they can then find all of your passwords and how to get in. nordpass.com/MWF. And if you use our link, you'll get 60% off and a 30-day money back guarantee. Bobbi, what is our takeaway from this piece?
You know, Joe, the last line of the story that we did not get to I think is key. So I wanted to share that with everyone. And it is Miller saying about this payment pause, quote, "This is just one piece of the puzzle." And I think that's important to remember. And we did, I hope we did a good job putting it in context. But he goes on to say, there's still nothing for colleges, nothing for states. And without that, whatever pause we're giving borrowers now is just going to be totally swamped by tuition increases, debt increases. And it merely pauses the massive problem that is both the insane cost. This is me speaking now. It merely pauses the massive problem that is both the insane cost of college and the pressure for many to go into a lifetime of debt to pay for it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think also when you use the term puzzle, this is a lot of the time we solve the puzzle the same way for everybody, right? This puzzle doesn't solve the same way for everybody. If you have these loans that are included, which is there's a huge number of people that aren't included. But if you do, you have to decide, do you do like Mike did and put money toward principal, or do you do like Tiara did and you put money toward your emergency fund? Like, what do I do with that money? Or am I just trying to live, which is the third option? If you're not included, you and I also know, Bobbi, that a lot of the loans that are out there that aren't included in this have their own provisions. And if you call your borrower, you might be able to do something with them still. So that doesn't mean that you don't have options. You still might have options. And if you call them, you can check out those too. So this puzzle, to use your term, this puzzle, it's very individual by individual.
Very well said. And I agree with that. It's like with everything, it always pays to ask. So ask your loan company, whoever you have the money from, what can be done, even if it's just pausing interest, and then you can pay down more principal.
Bobbi, we had a lot of friends help us make today's show. Where do people go if they want to help us make the next one?
Follow us, or actually subscribe is the proper term, on YouTube. That's Money with Friends on YouTube. And make sure you set your alerts to know when we will be recording. You can also follow us on Twitter at Money Friends Pod, and on Instagram, same handle there at Money Friends Pod. And the great thing on Instagram is if you stick close to stories, we often put up polls and quizzes, and you can get a shout out in the show, even if you can't catch us live, which is great. And you can also, by the way, get links to our stories on our website, moneywithfriendspodcast.com, where we also have information about all of our thought leader co-hosts, our cast. We're actually getting ready to reveal in about a month. We'll be revealing our next cast, which is awesome.
This is always a bittersweet time because we're having these awesome last conversations with this cast, and over 4 appearances, people are really getting into their wheelhouse. Well, 4 recording sessions. You're right. 8.
Yes.
8 appearances. They're really, man, we're having some really great conversations, but at the same time, gearing up for the next season. And we've got some cool stuff.
Yeah. And you can, by the way, we do Alumni Week. DM us if you have certain alums that you, former cast members that you would like to hear from. So just DM us on either Instagram or Twitter and let us know what, who your favorites are, who you want to hear from again.
And you can find the full list at moneywithfriendspodcast.com. All right. She's Bobbi. I'm Joe. We'll see you back here next time at Money with Friends. Bye-bye. 18.
Very nice.
Ta-da.
A little long-winded at the end, but
nice job, team.
Yeah.
Good work.
Thanks, guys. Early morning risers. We love you guys.
Yeah, it's crazy how many
Especially
people are
West
up
Coast people. Oh my God.
I know. Ron up early and already at the office. That's crazy, Ron. Hopefully, Ron, you get to go home at like 3 p.m. then. But anyway, all right, guys. We'll see you back here next time. Bye-bye.